Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the commencement ceremony of Dakota Wesleyan University and the class of 2021.
Let us pray. Almighty God, in a world of change, you placed eternity in our hearts and gave us the power to discern good from evil. Grant us sincerity, that we may persistently seek things that endure and refuse those that pass away, and that among things that are vanishing or deceptive, we may see the truth steadily and follow the light faithfully, and grow ever richer in that love which is the light of all people. We pray this through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
You may be seated. Class of 2021, we made it. We weren't able to do this last year, so it feels really, really good to be here. On behalf of the University Board of Trustees, the administration, and the faculty and staff of Dakota Wesleyan University, I welcome you to the commencement exercises for the class of 2021. This is a particularly special day for this class, whose academic year and college experience were significantly disrupted by the challenges of COVID-19, but whose compliant behaviors enabled us to complete a year of in-person classes and now to celebrate an in-person graduation. We are pleased to have many students also who weren't able to attend today and their family members joining us online. We are particularly grateful to the many friends and family members, mentors, and wise counselors who are gathered with us today, both in person and virtually, to celebrate this accomplishment. The word commencement comes from the French word for beginning. And after 4 or 5 years, it is understandable that many of you may think of commencement as an ending, as a finish line of sorts. I would, however, encourage you to think of today truly as a beginning. A beginning in a year otherwise filled with unprecedented disruption and change, but a beginning to begin to use your talents and gifts in service to God and humanity. Over the course of the past year, I've had the privilege, whether in person or virtually, of speaking with many of this year's graduates. And in the course of those conversations, I was regularly moved and humbled to hear of you speak about your growth and transformation. The confidence you have gained to delve deeply into what brings you meaning and purpose. Today constitutes a formal beginning, the day when you take what you have learned, the skills you have honed, the myriad of ways in which you have grown and matured, and you head out into our world, continuing to make an impact. Today you take your first steps down a new road, one that will be challenging but also rich in opportunity and deep in meaning and purpose. And it is our sincere hope that we have prepared you well for the many journeys that await you. Many of you, as I've met with, have already secured employment with local, regional, and international firms, whether that be nursing at Sanford or Avera Health, to nonprofit mission work, accounting work with local firms and regional CPA leaders, teaching in elementary and secondary schools, both here in Mitchell and across the country. Some of you are starting your own businesses. Others of you used the pandemic to begin your first novel. Some will enter work in insurance, while others are starting families and continuing military service. Some of you are excited to continue your deep engagement in politics. Others are committed to working at the local level to impact change in the nonprofit sector, supporting the environment, healthcare, in our criminal justice systems. Some of you will return to your home countries, equipped to be economists and business leaders with a new frame of reference. And others of you are still sorting through your many next steps. But all of you leave Dakota Wesleyan University better prepared to be continual learners, bold leaders, engaged citizens, to be intellectually curious in a manner that invites you to be problem solvers, relationship builders, authentic human beings seeking to better yourself, your community, and your world. Congratulations and God's blessings to the class of 2021.
Commencement celebrates the attainment of academic degrees and, more importantly, the knowledge and the abilities that we are confident that a degree from Dakota Wesleyan University represents. Commencement is a time of tradition and formality. The robes that the faculty and university officers wear today are known as regalia and connect the academy to its long history. Robes and hoods denote degrees, braids and pins indicate honors, while colors identify academic disciplines and university alma maters. This ceremony commemorates your growth and accomplishments as students and human beings. We thank all who are gathered here today in recognition of the graduating class of 2021. We begin today's exercises by conferring honorary degrees. President Novak, the Board of Trustees has authorized you to confer honorary degrees upon the following candidates in recognition of notable achievement and service in their respective fields. Dale C. Lamphere, Honorary Doctorate of Fine Arts.
At this time, we would invite Dale to please stand. Dale Claude Lamphere of Sturgis, South Dakota, has established a legacy as one of the finest sculptors in the region. During a nearly 50-year career, Dale has created more than 60 pieces of monumental public sculpture, as well as many works of art held in private collections. Former South Dakota Governor Dennis Dugard named Dale the South Dakota Artist Laureate in 2015, a position that was vacant for almost 30 years. Dale was inducted into the South Dakota Hall of Fame in 1987. Dale's connection to Dakota Wesleyan University stems from his creation of the sculpture of George and Eleanor McGovern that graces the entrance to the McGovern Library. Dale has used art to tell the diverse stories of South Dakota and our Great Plains region. His work expresses beauty, emotion, creativity, and innovation, and it reminds all of us of our connectedness to each other, to our region, and to our world. Dale's sculpture of George and Eleanor McGovern on the DWU campus stands as a hallmark of the legacy of his work for generations to come. Dale designed and created a 2-room chapel and several sculptures at the Basilica of the National Shrine in Washington, D.C. Locally, his 50-foot, 12-ton stainless steel sculpture, Dignity, overlooks the Missouri River near Chamberlain, South Dakota. And most recently, Dale's Arc of Dreams was installed this past summer in Sioux Falls, spanning the Big Sioux River. 2 150-foot arcs rise 70 feet above the river and taper to a 15-foot separation. When asked about his latest artistic installment, Dale stated, "The Arc of Dreams represents the journey of everyone's dream. At some point, it requires a leap of faith to make it a reality. Through sculpture, he seeks to express the strength and grace of the human spirit using timeless design, contemporary materials, and innovative techniques. Dale, through fearless and courageous expression, you have embodied the true meaning of serving others, and for that, we applaud and recognize you. In recognition of your contributions and work, it is our great privilege to present you with an honorary Doctor of Fine Arts. Students, this guy's a rock star. Okay, someday you're going to go to Washington, D.C. and see his work. You can see it in Omaha, all over the world. The impact of his creative expression is remarkable. So I hope you can aspire to Dale and what his legacy has meant for South Dakota and our region.
Lesta V. Turchin, Honorary Doctorate of Humane Letters.
Lesta, if you could please stand. Dr. Lesta V. Turchin. Lesta, I'm going to ask if you can turn yours so the students can see you. That's the faculty all the way around. There we go. Dr. Lesta V. Turchin of Hill City, South Dakota, has dedicated the better part of her life to serving her community and professional organizations through charismatic leadership and gracious humility. Throughout her professional career, Lesta has worked closely with several university boards and has also served on the board of directors for the hospital, a Chamber of Commerce, an International Technology Development Association, museums, preservation associations, and a historical society. In 2006, Lesta received the University of South Dakota Alumni Achievement Award for outstanding service in a profession or career. She was appointed to the South Dakota Archives Board by Governor Harvey Woolman, the South Dakota State Library Board by Governor Mike Rounds, and later reappointed by Governor Dennis Dugard. She served 6 years on the South Dakota State Library Board, including 3 as president. In Hill City, Lesta served for nearly 9 years on the Hill City Arts Council Board of Directors as secretary and vice president. For 9 years, Lesta has served as secretary, treasurer, vice president, and president of the board of directors for the Rose Family Cemetery Association, for which she is also a registered agent. She spent 20 years at Dakota Wesleyan University, serving as an associate professor of history from 1972 to 1992, and vice president for academic affairs and dean from 1987 to 1992. Lesta and her husband Mike support the DWU Turchin Family Endowed Scholarship and have given generously to support renovations to the Dakota Discovery Museum, as well as the new Women of Wesleyan featured in the Dakota Wesleyan University School of Business, Innovation, and Leadership. Currently, Lesta serves as president of the board of directors for the South Dakota State Railroad Museum. She created and funded the first South Dakota Ledger Art Project in 2019, designated for all accredited South Dakota schools with grades 4 through 12. Lesta and Mike are very active in Hill City, South Dakota Friends of the Library, and both supported the establishment of an endowment for the organization with the Black Hills Area Community Foundation. Perhaps most notably, when Lesta was here as academic dean and professor of history, she and Mike welcomed international students and students from all parts of the country to their home. She was a consummate student advocate, cheering them on to success as a graduate of the university. With her dedicated commitment to academic excellence, her extensive knowledge of the state and region, her selfless acts of giving, her welcoming and kind heart, Lesta has created a legacy that will endure for years to come. Lesta, in recognition of your contributions and work, it is our great privilege to present you with an honorary Doctor of Humane Letters. Please join me in congratulating Lesta V. Turchin.
Sam F. Weller, Honorary Doctorate of Humane Letters.
This award is given posthumously. The family is not able to be here today, but we will recognize Sam Weller. Sam Weller, a longtime Mitchell resident, businessman, community booster, and Dakota Wesleyan University supporter, passed away in 1978, but not before leaving a profound impact on the city of Mitchell and the university. Sam was born in Sioux City, Iowa, to Charles and Sarah Ball Weller. He graduated from Mitchell High School in 1919 and went on to play college football for Dakota Wesleyan University in 1921 and 1922. While at DWU, he was a member of Dakota Wesleyan University's Kappa Phi Phi Literary Society and the W Club. He was a member of the DW football team where he was applauded for his pass receiving talent with hopes of being a real asset to the Wesleyan squad. And while a junior, he reached junior class status. Sam had a keen business sense, enjoying the family business originally begun by his grandfather, Frank Weller, and continued by his father. The Weller Land Company was organized in Mitchell, South Dakota in 1890 as a farming operation, and it was later renamed the Weller Company when it added an insurance agency to its business purpose. Sam was passionately involved in community organizations and made a significant impact in the Mitchell community through his involvement in the Masonic Lodge, Mitchell Shriners, Elks Club, Lions Club, Mitchell Sportsman Club, Ducks Unlimited. He was an artifact contributor and a volunteer for the Friends of the Middle Border, now the Dakota Discovery Museum. And he served on the board of directors of the Mitchell Development Corporation and Mitchell Chamber of Commerce. Sam and Edna were active members of St. Mary's Episcopal Church, where he served as senior warden of the church vestry. During his life, Sam generously supported students at Dakota Wesleyan University by providing scholarships for their academic success. And after his death in 1978, Memorial Gifts funded the Sam F. Weller Memorial Scholarship Fund, which today continues to support student scholarships. In 2014, the Sam F. Weller Family Foundation was formed to honor the legacy of Sam and his family, making annual grants to charitable organizations in the Mitchell area. Since its inception, the foundation has provided more than $500,000 to dozens of local agencies and projects. The Sam F. Weller Family Foundation has been generous with the efforts of Dakota Wesleyan. The foundation has supported Dakota Wesleyan University team makers, the construction of the DWU Black Box Theater in 2016, and most recently, the construction of the DWU School of Business Innovation and Leadership, slated to open in the fall of 2021. Sam Weller's legacy of community support lives on in perpetuity through the endowment of this foundation, of which Dakota Wesleyan is a grateful beneficiary. In recognition of Sam F. Weller's contribution and work, it is our great privilege to present an honorary Doctor of Business Administration to Sam F. Weller. I am pleased to announce a special friend, but also a state leader, a national leader, on issues of race, equity, and diversity to offer today's 2021 commencement address. Malcolm Chapman is the founder of the Chapman Group, an organizational communications consulting firm that offers retreat facilitation, strategic planning, coaching, seminars, and keynote addresses to organizations and businesses. He is a former U.S. Marine Corps officer, consultant to the Center for Naval Analysis in Washington, D.C., and served 3 terms as councilman for the city of Rapid City. CHAP's current priorities include working to further early childhood education, affordable housing, and building community civic and service leadership. He is an active National League of Cities advocate, participant, and presenter. His wide and varied board service includes the following organizations: Optimist of the Black Hills, Rapid City Public Library Foundation, Dakota Land Trust, Leadership Rapid City, United Way of the Black Hills, South Dakota Lutheran Social Services, Friends of South Dakota Public Broadcasting, National League of Cities, NLC University Advisory Board, and life memberships in both the Military Officer Association of America and Optimist International. Chap holds a master's degree in public administration and was awarded the 2008 South Dakota Municipal League Excellence in Municipal Government Award. He was selected as a 2015 to 2017 Bush Fellow for his work in community leadership and capacity building. Recently, Chap accepted a position with the City of Rapid City as coordinator for the Human Relations Commission, a public-private partnership between the city and the Native American population working to improve broken community relationships. Chap and his family make their home in Rapid City. Please join me in welcoming Malcolm Chapman to the stage.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Good afternoon. President Novak, Provost Roy, Pastor Eric, faculty, staff, distinguished guests, our honorees, families, and of course the graduating class of 2021. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity. It is indeed a great honor for my wife and me to celebrate this day with you. In preparing today's remarks, I'm reminded of my 8th grade teacher and mentor, Daniel Starnicki's comments to me. He'd say, "Malcolm, if you can't say it in 15 minutes, it's not worth saying." So in keeping with Daniel Starnicki's advice, I will keep my remarks under the prescribed allotment of time. Before I address the graduates, I must address the families that are present here today. As a husband and a father of 3, I cannot begin without a special word to the parents, spouses, and other family members here today. On a personal note, our youngest son graduated in December of 2020 from college. My brother-in-law graduated from Dakota Wesleyan in 1983. My sister-in-law graduated from Dakota Wesleyan in 1979. and my father-in-law graduated from Dakota Wesleyan in 1961. Little did my future wife know that at the time when she attended her dad's graduation here as a kindergarten, that she would, some 60 years later, be here to witness and listen to her husband give the commencement address. I cannot begin to tell you how proud I am of my wife, our children, our families as a whole, and how proud your families must be of you today. So please, let's give these families a hand, because I know it's the graduates' moment, but I think that without their love, guidance, and support, this day wouldn't be possible. Let's give those families a hand. So again, from one proud family member to another, I would say congratulations and a job well done. And of course, congratulations to you, the graduates of 2021. Before I get to my prepared remarks, I must take a moment and say, if it applies, Happy Mother's Day to all that it applies to. So happy Mother's Day. Whew. What a year. My father-in-law, who I saw last night and again this morning, said since we didn't do this last year and I'm doing it this year, that I should speak twice as long and I should take 2 hours to speak, but I told him that I don't think that would be appreciated. But what a year. Some are saying that you're entering into an uncertain world at an uncertain time of great change. And I say that you're entering into a world that you've been uniquely educated and prepared for by a world-class university that understands leadership, service, change, and transition. Since 1883, when a group of Methodist settlers convened in what was then Dakota Territory and secured a charter for Dakota University, this school of higher learning has gone through significant change and embraced service and sacrifice. Those first settlers were driven to build a college of stone while living in houses of sod. In 1904, changing its name to Dakota Wesleyan University, and as the state grew and changed, so did your university. In the 1930s, when we were suffering from depression, this university began accepting students who had little or no resources, and years later, continuing to prepare students as future teachers and leaders. And with the inception of the McGovern Center, now prepares students for a life of public service into a diverse global world that you will enter. Yes, I would say this university is uniquely prepared you to deal with the changes of today. And I must speak just a little bit about change. Change is an external event that we've gone through for the last year, and then transition is that emotional, psychological place that helps us get through the change. You've already heard today about endings and commencement being a new beginning. We are going through change right now, and as we continue to go through this change together, we will hit a new beginning. And that new beginning, you will find yourself uniquely prepared for. I'd like to just talk on a personal note just a little bit about change and transition from my perspective. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and I'm a product of separated and divorced parents. When my parents separated, I asked if I could go live with my grandparents, my paternal grandparents, and my parents said yes. And I went to stay with my grandparents as a 6-year-old, and this is typical of the dinner conversation that we would have in my grandparents' home. My grandmother, who was only a third grade, had a third grade education, would say, "So Malcolm, what did you do today?" And I would say, "I didn't do anything." And she'd say, "Why don't you take the next 15 minutes and tell your family how you could spend a day and do nothing?" What I didn't understand was that my grandmother was creating a space at that dinner table where my 6-year-old voice could show up. And as soon as I understood that, I would start to tell what was going on in my day and what was happening with me. And I felt that my story was just as valuable, and my 6-year-old journey was just as valuable as my grandparents and my aunt and my older cousins who sat around that table. I didn't realize it at the time, but my grandmother was giving me space to be me and telling me that my story was important. I've always thought since that time that there was a seat at the table for me without invitation. I want you to know that there's a seat at this table for you, a much needed seat, without invitation. You have a seat at the table. You are important. Your stories are important. Your journey is important. And I'm going to challenge you today to think as leaders that you have a responsibility to create that space for all of those around you and that you touch, that their story, their journey is equally important and deserves to be listened to and heard. I'm going to have the graduates do something with me. I've been asking folks, so what do you remember of your college graduation? And not a single person who graduated over 20 years ago can tell me anything that they remember from their graduation. So I'm going to ask the graduates to go with me on this. Just for a moment, I'd like for you to close your eyes. Please, close your eyes. Take a deep breath and just sit with it for a moment. Notice what you're feeling: excitement, nervousness, being afraid, just wanting to get it over with. Sit with it for a moment. And whatever you're feeling is okay. It's yours. Own it. Now I'd like for you to think about the values that support that feeling. A sense of pride, a sense of accomplishment. Whatever those values are, they're yours as well. Own them. Now I'd like for you to take those feelings and those values and capture them in one single word. Just one word. And now I'd like for you to open your eyes. I'd like for you to turn to someone close to you and share that word with them. Just take a moment and share that word with someone. That's the graduates. Thank you. What you've just done is the message that I share about diversity and inclusivity and equity. It's what my grandmother taught me sitting around that table. It's what we just did. That you took a moment and you had a personal reflection about it, and then after internalizing it, you shared it with someone else. That's the way that we build community. That we have this shared moment, and then we share it with someone else, and then all of a sudden we start to build community and bring people into our fold. Really what that message is about is how equity, inclusion, and diversity is important. I think as leaders we have a responsibility to help create that environment that we can give voice to the voiceless, and we can help broaden this entire concept of what it means to be we. And I think that's what it is to be we the people. At that time, those words were penned at the preamble to the Constitution in 1787. That didn't include all of us. That didn't include non-landowners. It didn't include women. It didn't include our native population. It didn't include our African American population. And we've spent the last 234 years trying to broaden that concept of we and what it means to be we. And through that difference and bridging that gap, it's been hard. And it's not easy work to expand we. But I think that if anyone can help with this, that it's you. That you're uniquely qualified to help continue this concept of how do we broaden and expand we. I think that some feel that when we broaden that concept that they are losing something. I tend to believe that we are gaining as a society when we allow that seat at the table to be expanded and more voices can show up. And this is the work that you've done for the last 4 years to understand how to build we. I'd like to read something to you that's from the wonderful book by Isabel Wilkerson called Caste. And what Isabel Wilkerson in this book talks about the United States as it were an old house. And if you ever lived in an old house, and I know parents and family members and faculty have lived in old houses, if you lived in an old house, you know that the work in that house is never done and it continues forever. And we have a responsibility to continue that work. I'm going to read something to you from Isabel Wilkerson's book, Caste. where she, again, likens this work of being inclusive and increasing diversity as an old house. Isabel Wilkerson writes, "With an old house, the work is never done, and you don't expect it to be. America is an old house." We in the developed world are like homeowners who inherited a house on a piece of land that is beautiful on the outside, but whose soil is unstable loam and is beautiful on the outside, but whose soil is unstable loam and rock, heaving and contracting over generations. Cracks patched, but the deeper ruptures waved away for decades, even centuries. Many people might rightly say, "I had nothing to do with how all of this started. I had nothing to do with this. My ancestors never attacked indigenous people, never owned slaves." And yes, not one of us was here when this house was built. Our immediate ancestors may have had nothing to do with it. But here we are, the current occupants of a piece of property with stress cracks and bold walls and fissures built into the foundation. We are the heirs to whatever is right or wrong with it. We did not help erect the uneven pillars or joists, but they are ours to deal with now. And any further deterioration of this house is on our hands. This is our house. We have a responsibility to create an environment that we invite others of difference to sit at that table and tell their stories. We have a responsibility to then listen to those stories. Communication is really about two things. It's about you respecting that person that you're listening to and listening with curiosity and listening to learn. And then on the other side of that is listening without judgment and then communicating with a certain intention. That's what my challenge is to you today, to help create those environments, to invite others to the table, and then listen to understand and listen to with curiosity. And then when you have to speak, speak with intention and speak from your heart. In college graduation, commencement speeches, there should be some sort of charge. So to go get them, and this is the charge that I would leave with you. For the rest of your lives, be generous. Continue to learn. Find ways to serve. Albert Schweitzer once said that I have no idea of what it is that you'll do for the rest of your life, but those of you who will be the happiest are those of you who will have sought out and found ways to serve. Find ways to serve. Look for careers that touch your heart. Understand that curiosity and judgment cannot reside on the same side of the street. Understand that change is external and transition is that internal psychological emotion that we go through. Be patient with yourselves, and especially with others. Believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, act on those dreams, and there's absolutely nothing that you can't do. Dr. Novak said that I accepted a position with the City of Rapid City in January of this year, and I'm the coordinator now of what we call the Human Relations Commission and the Minalusahan Okolo Okichiape Ambassadors. That's Lakota for Rapid City Circle of Friends. And in that position, we've come up with a mission that's pretty simple, and this is my ultimate challenge for you today as you leave here, is that you would beam, B-E-A-M. That B is for find ways to bridge cultures. In any way that you can, find ways to reach into other cultures and that which is different than you and build a relationship. The E is for educate, the importance of educating yourself and to educate others. Be a lifelong learner. The A is for advocacy, and then the M is for modeling the behavior that you'd like to see in others. I think we have a responsibility to beam and to find ways to beam. And I would challenge you to think about how to beam. You now have the keys to a house that was once built of sod. It's yours. You own it. I hope that you bring your energies, your talent, your skills, your ingenuity to help repair and make better this house that we've been working on for the last 234 years. We all have a responsibility in that. And in keeping with my mentor, Daniel Starnicki, I'm getting close to my 5 minutes, so let me say, to close, that it is my sincere and heartfelt appreciation for my wife and I to be here today and to share this moment with you and your families and our honorees, and to thank you and to congratulate you and to say God bless you and Godspeed and congratulations.
Brothers, then will justice be demanded?
Our purpose in gathering here today is to recognize the exemplary achievements of all of our graduates. We also gather to celebrate something that is at the very core of Dakota Wesleyan University: relationships. Traditionally, we hold a separate baccalaureate service, providing us with an opportunity to celebrate our relationship with our Creator. But due to the challenges of the pandemic, this year we are integrating elements of our baccalaureate service into commencement, enabling us to recognize and celebrate the nurturing and sustaining relationships that have been developed between students and faculty and between students and staff members during the students' individual journeys here at Dakota Wesleyan. Earlier this year, we asked our graduating students to identify the faculty or staff member who has played a particularly significant role in their Dakota Wesleyan University experience. The individual they identified will present them with an academic hood in today's ceremony. This ritual draws on the long academic tradition of bestowing hoods upon graduates in recognition of their accomplishments and as a way of acknowledging these critical relationships. Many graduates request that they be hooded by more than one faculty or staff member. And because we recognize these sorts of relationships as standing at the heart of the Wesleyan experience, we take the fact that so many students have made this request as evidence that we are doing something right. For long after hoods and honor cords have been packed away and college GPAs have slipped from memory, it is the relationships that you have developed at Dakota Wesleyan that will sustain you and nurture you. Students, we will be calling your name. The faculty or staff member will be placing the academic hood on you. You will walk further across the stage to receive your diploma, and then you will have an opportunity to have your photo taken in the photo booth. When you enter the photo booth, you are able to take your mask off. Before we begin by recognizing this year's graduates, I would like to take a moment to recognize one student who has successfully completed a Life Quest certificate on our campus this year. Life Quest is a special program we offer to students that has been ongoing for the past 4 years at Dakota Wesleyan. This year's Life Quest certificate recipient is Scott Vogie. It has been a joy to watch this young man develop increased self-motivation and independence while attending the DWU Life Quest program. Scott has gained self-confidence, and his self-advocacy skills have increased since attending Dakota Wesleyan. He has developed self-discipline to make responsible decisions. He is a creative thinker, which allowed him to pursue and complete his goal of creating his own online design business while at DWU. He has a great sense of humor and kind heart. Congratulations, Scott. Oh, your mic's not on. No. Hold on, I'm going to move mine over there. This is called adaptive leadership, folks.
There we go. We will now begin conferring degrees. Graduates will be called in order of the program. Following each degree section, we will read the names of the graduates who were unable to attend today. President Novak, it is my privilege to report to you that the candidates here assembled, having successfully completed programs of study offered by Dakota Wesleyan University, and having been recommended by the faculty and Board of Trustees, are qualified in all respects to be awarded appropriate degrees in recognition of their academic accomplishments. Will all candidates for bachelor's degrees proceed to the stage as your row is dismissed by the junior marshals? President Novak, I have the privilege of presenting those candidates who, upon completion of all degree requirements, are qualified in all respects for a bachelor's degree. Please hold your applause until all degrees have been conferred. We will begin with the Bachelor of Arts graduates. Lauren Page Alexander. Carolyn Jean Groves. Johanna Elizabeth Allen. Nicholas Jack Nagel. Kaylin Marie Anzano. Alyssa K. Weidler. Jacob Dean Schaefer. Miles Douglas Burkink. Kendra Karen Clark, summa cum laude. Anthony De La Torre. Brooke Kristen Ellers, cum laude. Sarah Elizabeth Herman, summa cum laude. Justice Baston Morrison. Devin Lee Rehanick, summa cum laude. Isabel Natalia Barraza. Alyssa Joy Betts. Hannah Nicole Bowes. Lydia Marie Gerber, cum laude. Darius Trey Norwood, cum laude. Chloe Jean Solberg, summa cum laude. Logan LeRae Amundsen, summa cum laude. Jacinda Nicole Bierbendorf, cum laude. Hannah Elizabeth Marcourt, cum laude. Emma Suzanne Myers, magna cum laude. Marissa Colleen Knorr. Alondra Partida Placencia. Stephanie Misha Gable, cum laude. Bryce Wayne Garretts. Jordan Marie Pond. Dane Chad Clark. Andrew Wayne Demers. Nicholas Jabriel Harden. Hannah Elizabeth Hone, magna cum laude. Nate Jared Hone, magna cum laude. Dawson Lee Kurzman. Courtney May Mascarenas, summa cum laude. Richard Lawrence Struble. Marcus Leonard Urban, magna cum laude. Dominic Raymond Warmbine, cum laude. Trevor Scott John Wilkinson. Rory Patrick O'Malley. Vanessa Jean Kurkowski. Rebecca Renee Letcher. Austin Lee Chemnitz. Tyler Joseph Torres.
I will now recognize the Bachelor of Arts graduates who were unable to attend today's ceremony. Dominic Scott Berger, Macy Marie Bowl, Chaden Brian Fitzsimmons, Ashley Ann Johnson, Kristen Michelle Velez, Bennett Arthur White.
We will now continue with the Bachelor of Science graduates. Edgar Avalos Meza, Caden Jack Milmine, magna cum laude. Chaden Rayleigh Metzger, summa cum laude. Angela Leah DeBoer, Macy Ray Erickson, summa cum laude. Bridget Elizabeth Kenobi, summa cum laude. Savannah Ann Schmidt, cum laude. Claire Anna Stoller, summa cum laude. Devin Carl Frederick Deathlison. Grace Elizabeth Rule, summa cum laude. Justine Lee Noel Schoenrock. Holden Isaac Tiemann. Jenny Lee Hahn. Emily Aaron Kitterman, with distinction. Connor William Morgan, summa cum laude. Cade Philip Carpenter. Dylan Glenn Hansen. Lauren Bicey, with distinction. Kyla Ann Clark, with distinction. Joanna Mary Ginelius. Amber Marie Hatwan, with distinction. Paige Marie Miller, with distinction. Heather Jo Pike, with distinction. Abigail Marie Hansen, summa cum laude. Jessica Jo Yunke, cum laude. Haley Ann Langrock, summa cum laude. Natalie Nicole Neal. Taylor Ann Smith, summa cum laude. Taylor Rebecca Hoppy. Devin Robert Bedke, summa cum laude. Catherine Lynn Hardwick. Megan Joanne Herzog. Anthony Earl Johansson Suley, magna cum laude. Zachary James Pitts. Cade David Schmidt. Rudy Andres Ballesteros. Joshua James Gary, cum laude. Samuel Otto Kretschmar, cum laude. Kyle Jacob Menning, cum laude. Spencer Paul Negebauer. Lane Terrell Stafford. Jordan John Voorhees. Reese Allen Weber. Jennifer Nicole Schmidt, cum laude. Samuel Stephen Arend. Nicholas Allen Havala. Jamie McGowan. Tegan Robert Preeb. Dawson William Schockert, cum laude. Wyatt Michael Volker, summa cum laude. Aaron Patrick Wanandi, cum laude. Juliana Grace Serta Warner, magna cum laude. Shay Ryan Gibson. Isis Ivana Insua. Elena Grace Swingen, cum laude. Vanessa Dawn Thompson. Christopher Robin Walling, cum laude. Rachel Ann Walling, cum laude. Sierra Rose Messman, magna cum laude. Joseph Charles Hanish. Sydney Ann Gortel, cum laude. Marissa Marie Graff. Julia Lorraine Kelly. Reagan Leanne Niebel. Ember Autumn Wagaman. Rebecca Marie Walling, summa cum laude. Bradley Scott Dean. Anthony Patrick Hayes. Zachary David Lester. Lacey Allison Wipf, magna cum laude. Preston Lewis Emerson. Joshua Aaron Nix. Grace Diane Bach. Macy Marie Bowl, magna cum laude. Caleb Johnson, cum laude. Kellen Anthony Erpenbach, magna cum laude. Ashton Taylor Cobb.
I will now recognize the Bachelor of Science graduates who were unable to attend today's ceremony. Cassandra Kelly Bartnick, Melanie Lynn Boris, Sarah May Beeler, Andrew Anthony Browning, Cheyenne G. Cass, Darcy Ann Fulkins, Caitlin Marie Garrison, Christina Marie Goodwin, Jennifer Christine Heyer, Omar Menchaca Torres, Julian Mola Latera, Tasha Ray Mortensen, Michelle Danae Olson, Katie Marie Schaefer, Kimberly Jo Siebert, Robin May Taylor, Jessica Ann Tubergen, Alexis Aaron Van Beek, Catherine Diane Westfall, Leah Marie Zittrick. By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University and the State of South Dakota, I do hereby confer upon all those standing a bachelor degree according to the department in which you have qualified, with all honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Will the recipients of a bachelor's degree please move their tassels from the right to the left side of their mortarboards, officially signifying their graduation? Will you... Well, all candidates, you may be seated now. Well, all candidates for the master's degree, please proceed to the stage as directed by the junior marshals. President Novak, I have the privilege of presenting those candidates whom, upon completing all degree requirements, are qualified in all respects for the degree of Master of Arts, Masters of Athletic Training, and Masters of Business Administration. We'd ask that you hold applause until all degrees have been conferred. Gemini Jeanette Severson Wesley. Austin J. Ward. Angela Patrice Meyerink. Jared McGee Jones. Thomas Anton Hook. Samantha Gail Gill. Robert John Beach Pattison. Matthew Dillon Johnson. Luis Polito. Erica Jane Perkins. Samantha Marie Shu. Allison Jo Vanderpool. Jackson Ray Deedy. Joseph Allen Carroll. Abby Lynn Stratton. Kelly K. Anoski. Lori Ann Hansen. Tristan David Techmeyer. Caitlin Brave Eagle. Jessica Marie Maris. Antoine Jansen Burrell. Jason Henry Allen Spicer. And accepting a degree posthumously for Emmanuel Begay Christopher on behalf of his family is his brother, Danette Christopher.
I will now recognize the master's degree candidates who were unable to attend today's ceremony. Trevor Cole Joyner, Sean Thomas Kemmerer, Anna Victoria Kolbach, Chelsea Mazzola, Daniel Richard McGee, Trevor Dean Peter, Taylor Teresa Vasa, Kylie Morgan Auk, Andrew James Bashina, Peter Michael Fenster, Joel Thomas Hanks, Michelle Marie Hargrave, Rosario Picardo, Kelsey Renee Thompson, Rachel Ann Warner, Jeremy Glenn White, Carol Ann Zegsma. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University and the State of South Dakota, I do hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Arts, Master of Business Administration, Master of Athletic Training, according to the department in which you have qualified, with all honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Please join me in congratulating the master degree recipients. Will all degree recipients please rise? Ladies and gentlemen, the graduates of the class of 2021 from Dakota Wesleyan University. You may be seated.
Megan Luther would like to join us on stage for the presentation of the Clark Award. The Clark Award for Teaching Excellence is an endowed award established by the Clark family of Mitchell, South Dakota. It is awarded annually in recognition of a Dakota Wesleyan University faculty member who has exhibited the following characteristics: excellence in teaching, excellence in serving the needs of students, and excellence in service to the institution and community. The Clark Award Selection Committee receives nominations from faculty members, staff members, and students. It reviews those nominations and presents a selection to the Committee on Academic Affairs of the Dakota Wesleyan Board of Trustees. In reviewing the nominations submitted on behalf of this year's recipient, along with past teaching evaluations of this professor's courses, it is abundantly clear that this year's recipient is richly deserving of this honor. In reviewing students' comments about this professor, several themes emerge consistently. First and foremost is this professor's relentless focus on student learning and on creating an environment conducive to learning. One of this professor's students writes as follows: "This class was definitely my favorite. I really enjoyed how it felt as though we, that is the professor and the students, were a team. I loved how we all learned together, but at the same time, if you were falling behind, you could ask questions and the professor would have no problem setting aside time to help you catch up. I really liked the pace at which we learned and felt like it was a comfortable pace for everyone. I love the way that the professor teaches. The professor very obviously and visibly wants each and every student to succeed in the class. There are lots of students whose majors and minors require them to take this professor's class, and I really feel that the professor does an outstanding job of making sure that each and every student succeeds in the way that they need to succeed." This student identifies several themes that unsurprisingly other students echo in their comments about this professor's classes. One of these, amazingly to me, is an appreciation of the pace of learning. Because, trust me, it is exceedingly rare for different students across multiple courses to explicitly express appreciation for the pace of learning. Thus, another student comments, "One of the strongest qualities of this course was the pace at which we moved through it. I seemed to have enough time to grasp the information, but the course didn't move so fast that I felt like I was falling behind." Another consistent theme that emerges in student comments is the degree to which this professor views questions and questioning as an integral part of the learning process. The following offers a sampling of what this professor's students have to say about the professor's openness to and encouragement of questions. The professor was very friendly. I was able to ask questions and the professor would help me learn the material better if I didn't understand it. The professor was very helpful if you had a question. The professor never gave you the correct answer, but provided you with guiding questions so that you could find the answer yourself. The professor helped with anything we had a question on. The professor was very open to questions. The professor was truly there for you if you had questions and would help you out. The list goes on. A third theme that emerges consistently in student comments is this professor's sensitivity and responsiveness to the unique abilities and needs of students, and the professor's willingness to spend countless hours with students outside of the classroom to ensure their understanding of the material. More student comments. This professor encourages students to share the way that each of them learns best and then incorporates that into their teaching. The professor uses many different teaching techniques like group work, lectures, games, worksheets, and other things. This professor logs in at any time of day or night to give extra help to students in need, and this is often the case for me. This professor understands where students struggle and offers various ways to help them. This professor will meet with you and take a call from you at any time of day or night to help you understand a concept and will not quit until you feel comfortable with the information. This professor believes in each and every student and pushes them to do their best and achieve their future passions. In addition to the excellence that this year's recipient demonstrates in teaching and meeting the needs of students, this individual's accomplishments in the area of service are equally significant and impressive. As one of the faculty colleagues who nominated this person for the award put it, this professor works very hard to build community among students. This professor helps advise the university's Science Club Chaos and eagerly assists members with many activities, including service projects, socials, and homecoming activities. This professor's friendliness and enthusiasm are unmistakable. She never hesitates to make changes to her work schedule in order to benefit the department and university and, of course, students. Such a willingness to cooperate and a commitment to problem solving make working with her a true pleasure. She relishes new ideas that will strengthen the program and university, and her quickness to generate such ideas makes her a joy to be around. She is always willing to jump in and help out when a need presents itself. To write that Bethany is dedicated to Dakota Wesleyan's mission is an understatement. She shows her support and enthusiasm for student success not only in the classroom, but also at athletic events. She works hard to promote the department and university to prospective students and encourages her students to develop themselves fully. Would you please join me in congratulating this year's recipient of the Clark Award for Teaching Excellence, Dr. Bethany Melro Lehrman.
We now invite Jory Hansen to offer a few words on behalf of the Alumni Association.
Good afternoon. My name is Jory Hansen. I'm the Director of Development and a graduate of the class of 2007. On behalf of the Dakota Wesleyan Alumni Office, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Tiger Alumni family as the next step in your journey. Like President Novak mentioned earlier, becoming an alumnus is not the end of your journey. It's simply a milestone, although a very significant one. No matter where life takes you, a career in business, healthcare, education, a church or community leader, you will be Dakota Wesleyan University for life. As part of my role at Dakota Wesleyan, I get the opportunity to connect with alumni from all parts of the country and across all eras. Now, that method of connection certainly looked different over the last 14 months, but I don't have to remind all of you in this audience about that. However, throughout these conversations with alumni, there's always seems to be a common theme, and that is Dakota Wesleyan is different, and that their lives were transformed by the education they received at DWU. My hope is that all of you have had similar experiences throughout your time here. Now, over the past week, I was again reminded of what makes Dakota Wesleyan special. As we celebrated DWU Cares, many of you were part of the 300+ students that went out into the Mitchell community and gave back to share your appreciation for a community that became your home. A number of you also joined a significant number of alumni going back as far as 1948 to give back and pay it forward so that the next generation of Tigers can have the same experience that you have had in the last 4 years. That is what's special, and that's why I'm confident in this group that you're ready to go out and make a difference in the world. As part of the Alumni Office, one of our main goals is to stay connected with you. We enjoy learning in celebrating your personal and career wins along the way, and we look forward to sharing your stories with other alumni. And our hope is that you'll stay connected with us. Congratulations to all of you, our newest alumni. You're now part of a special group of more than 8,000 people across the country and throughout the world. Your fellow alumni and our campus community are proud of you, and we're cheering for you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Jory. And I now invite Lacey Whip to the podium to lead us in the singing of the Scotchman. We'll invite you all to stand. The way we do this at Dakota Wesleyan is we sing the first verse, and then we hum the second verse. So if you're new to this tradition, hang in there with us while we're all humming, okay? So here's Lacey.
Show me the Scotchman who doesn't love the thistle. Show me the Englishman who doesn't love the rose. Show me the true-hearted son of old Wesleyan who doesn't love the spot where the tumbleweed grows.
On behalf of Dakota Wesleyan University, I thank you for supporting and celebrating the graduates of the class of 2021. As we end our ceremony, please allow all graduates to recess to the South Plaza, which is out these doors. Graduates, please proceed to the parking lot area so as to not create a crowd by the doors until all graduates have exited. The junior marshals will help with the flow of traffic there, so if you can be guided by them, that would be great. Family, guests, faculty, and staff are welcome to join us outside for light refreshments. I now invite Reverend Eric Van Meter to the podium for the benediction.
Let us pray. God, we thank you for those who taught us and have worked beside us, and those that have supported these graduates along the way. Walk with them as they leave and move forward. Take away their anxiety and confusion of purpose. Strengthen their talents and skills. Instill them confidence in your future plan and the road that they have, where their energies may be gathered up and used for the good of all people. Amen. Go in peace, and wherever you go, take care of each other.